Oh, hello there. How's everyone doing today?
You're up. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Hi. We're here to play some Final Fantasy Legend 2 for the Game Boy. It's a fun adventure of 4 nameless characters. Real quick before I start, I'm going to need some people to throw some names out. I'm going to be naming 4 characters. The first one's going to be QFG for Questing for Glory. And then I also would like input if people would rather me run humans, run mutants, or one of each. So I'll give you guys a couple of seconds here. Alright, while you guys are running through, one of each, huh? Alright, we'll do one of each, since that's kind of what more people have said. We're going to be starting the game, so when I press start is when the timer starts. So I'll count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the Final Fantasy Legend 2, and like I said, we're going to have Questing for Glory. They are all going to be, the human and the mutant are going to be females, because the female characters get agility weapons to start. So with the agility weapons, we will be making a very broken robot to kill everything, hopefully for us. And then we will also have one monster to eat some meat and become strong. Alright, so I got Butts as a name. Jim. I can make Bowie kind of work. This is a Game Boy game. It was originally Saga 2, but for the United States it was Final Fantasy Legend 2. Alright, so one a mutant. Alright, I will do it Doom style. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be unequipping our human and Esper, or mutant. I will interchange the two. And equipping our robot right away with agility weapons. We do this to so the characters die faster, they don't have moves they can use, and make our robot more stronger throughout the game. Our robot's going to be the main damage dealer through the game. So this is Final Fantasy Legend 2. We are, well, as you saw there, our dad jumped out the window to go protect the world from with Magi. So Magi is just like the MacGuffin of the game. We're searching for it and our dad kind of at the same time. So now that we're older, we are going to go look for them. Or go look for him, excuse me. And so we meet Mr. S at our school and tells us to bring some friends, so that's why we brought our friends. So we're going through the first cave with Mr. S. Because we have a companion, we might not be able to run as often. As you saw, we got a can't run already, which surprisingly it's only been one. It's probably gonna get another one now because I said that. Yeah. Running is based off of the agility of the whole team versus the agility of like the opponents, but only one of each if there's multiple enemies. So if you're facing like 6 skeletons, 6 goblins, and 6 I don't know, 6 whatever dragons, it only counts for one of each of them and not 6 of each of them. but since we have a companion, it actually makes it harder to run. But whenever you don't have a companion, it becomes easier to run. So Mr. S is really powerful though as well, so he's going to be doing some pretty good damage with his fire attack. Alright, so after the first cave, Mr. S leaves to protect the original town, and so we're going to go find our dad. So we actually got a bow there, so we're going to equip that on our robot to give him 2 more agility and make it so we can run better and we can do more damage. We are going to be able to run from everything once the character is dead in battle, as you saw earlier. So if a character dies, you can run. Yeah, as I already saw, the 1-step encounter rate. So we've actually kind of looked into it more this past year, and there actually is just a set step like encounter rate. So it's, you know, it goes through a pattern of, I don't remember, there's 256 steps or whatever it is. So at one point there is 3 battles and 4 steps, I believe, and so that's obviously not the best one to run into. After we meet Key in the temple, we talk to her about where if we could find some magi, and she tells us to go to the Temple of Ancient Gods. So we are down here to look for some, because we tell her we're looking for our dad and we don't want to become a god. So she decides to help us. So we have to get some magi. So the way this game also works is you have to have a certain number of magi to actually go on from world to world, because there's this kind of like celestial overworld that we have to get to, and if you don't have enough magi, you actually can't go on. Even, I mean, unless you do glitch stuff, but this is the glitchless category, so hopefully, since we do have a mutant on our team, there's chances that we could get certain abilities with them to break the game, but the chances are very slim, so I'll talk about it when we get to that. So we're just running from everything because our agility is high enough and we don't have a companion in our party. So that's going to be the majority of the game, is just running from everything, selling everything we get loot-wise, except the very few items, and just pretty much the 2 in the front are just meat shields for the robot and the monster later in the game. That first little, I guess you can call it a mini-boss that we ran into, he does have a chance to drop meat, which you can eat, because we have a set path of meat we eat for the monster. So I guess I can talk about that as well. The monsters only change when they have when they eat meat, and so they don't gain stats or any HP or anything. They just evolve pretty much. The robot doesn't he doesn't gain stats at all unless you equip it. So the more stuff it has, the more either strength, agility, or defense that it'll get. It can't get any of the mana stat. Humans and espers or mutants, they just gain stats kind of, it's almost like a Final Fantasy II mechanic. So if they attack with an agility weapon, they have a chance to gain an agility stat. Same with mana, strength, and defense with shields. HP, I'm not exactly sure how it works. You kind of gain HP sometimes, and there you go. The humans gain stats faster than the espers also. The mutants also gain... Every character has 8 slots in their inventory that they can have. Throughout the game, with running from fighting random encounters, which we don't do often, the mutant can gain up to 4 spells, and it'll cycle through those as you play. So we got Key because we ran into Ashura's men down at the Temple of Ancient Relics, and they took some of the Magi. So we tell Key, and she's like, "We gotta stop them." So we're gonna go stop them up at Ashura's base up the north here. But again, since we have a companion and she's not very fast agility-wise, we're gonna get a decent amount of can't runs. So, like I said, we pick all females because the females start with agility weapons. So that's the only reason we're able to run from anything at this point without shopping. So here is Ashura's base. If we run into the dancing zombies, we get into a fight. So we are going to try to avoid them. And again, we're just going to run from everything. We're actually skipping all the treasure in here, I think. Just to get through as fast as we can. Oh, there's the back-to-back fights, and it's actually the exact same fight, which is kind of weird. Yeah, when I was younger and I played this game, I didn't know how the game worked. So Key actually comes with a thunder book. So if you have a book, the spells do more damage. So I would use all of her charges on her Thunderbook while trying to hopefully gain money and stats for my characters. Alright, almost done with this first little area. So we're going to be fighting a mini-boss in here, and it's not a hard mini-boss, it's just it's a random encounter in two different worlds, or two worlds in the future, but the game definitely holds your hand. This first and second world, they give you, so far this is our second companion already, and we haven't even fought like a real boss or anything. It's just, you know, generic fights. Alright, so here's the first mini-boss, it's just a rhino. Alright, so we got some meat, but we don't eat rhino meat because it messes with the certain path that we have for our monster. So if we try to leave here, we're actually not able to. The game puts a pull-out wall on the door and says we can't leave without the Magi. So when I played this game again when I was younger, I assumed the monster evolving was just kind of random, but there's actually a set table, and if you eat certain meats, you're gonna get the same monster every single time. So once I learned that, when I started speedrunning this game, it was kind of eye-opening that, you know, how big of steps you can take by if you know what you're eating and going to turn into. Alright, so this is the Celestial World, and I'll go over it, I guess, later, since I kind of talked the whole time. Key stayed behind to stay in her world to protect people and heal people, because she can heal people. And the second world is a desert. It's Ashura's desert? I don't know if it's technically his or not, but that's kind of what I call it. All the world is a desert. You can get in fights in the cities and in the desert and just walking around. If you can kind of see, it's kind of hard to see sometimes, there's wavy lines moving, that is where you can kind of walk. And then there's non-wavy lines, and there's cactuses in the desert, so it kind of, like, you can kind of walk through the desert, but if you walk too close to cactuses, they kind of throw you around. So when I was younger, I would just walk around because the whole outside is safe. But now that we know it, I know an easier path, you just take this. So this is Ashura's tower. We are going to climb this tower to defeat Ashura because he's a bad, bad man. We are going to get some treasure here and get another companion because, like I said, the game really holds your hand the first two worlds. You fight two easy mini-bosses and they give you a companion, and then you fight another, well, this is your first real boss, so you'll get a companion for that. So we get a saber, which is an agility-based weapon, so got to put it on our robot to make him stronger. Hey. Alright, so a woodman. If you're wondering what it's like blaring out at me with my first character, Questing for Glory doesn't have any equipment. So Questing for Glory, it just says they don't have any equipment. Alright, so we have this guy named Mask, who's definitely not Dad. So... Alright, so we're going to run from everything, but since we have a mutant on our team, our agility is a little bit lower, so we might get a couple can't runs in here, so that would be less than ideal with this party we have. Yeah, they actually addressed the whole mask and not mask thing in the DS version, I heard. Because Mask totally looks like Dad wearing a mask. But it is not the same person. But in the DS version, I heard they actually kind of addressed that it's not the same person. Alright, so we are going to get a couple treasure here that we can sell, because we're going to have to buy something soon. And then we're coming up to our first boss, so this boss is pretty safe, but, you know, I'm still going to safety save because I can. And there is going to be some awesome boss music, which is one of the great parts of this game. I love the boss music in this game. Yeah, there's a DS version that was a remake of the game for the DS remake for the DS. It was only in Japan, so... But there is a patch if you want to download it, I believe. Alright, so this is Ashura. He's telling us that he sent some of his men to shrink down and attack Key's body. So we are going to defeat him because he wants our Magi. Because if we talk to certain people in town, they tell us that he was a goblin that used the Magi and turned into this guy. So he can attack with 6 arms, or he can use Flame. Flame obviously does a lot of damage, but it kind of makes it faster because less people do stuff. And easy peasy. Alright, so Mask is leaving us, and we're going to go see if Key is in trouble. Alright, so Key is here. And so Ashura's men shrunk down and went inside of her body to try to take her Magi. So this sprite gives us a Magi to go on. So when I first played this game, well, not even first, I mean I did it a couple times. If you don't talk to that sprite, you actually can't go to the next world to get the item you need. So you have to talk to her first. And if you try to talk to Key, she just doesn't say anything because she's sick. So we're going to be running from everything just like usual. And we are going to go to the Celestial World. So these are just kind of like little teleporters, I guess. They're kind of like elevators too, and then this is kind of like an overworld. And so you have to go through these to go to the next one. So actually, it says opened, but I'll show you what happens if you don't have the Magi. It just says, like, you can't go on, you don't have enough Magi. We need more Magi to open this door, so yeah. Alright, so here is Giant's World, which definitely doesn't look like Giant's World, but it for sure is. Yeah, just run from everything. That's how you play games. So here we run into our real dad, who definitely doesn't look like Mask, and definitely didn't jump out of our windows. So, I mean, I don't know if any of your parents just jumped out of windows when they left, but I guess ours does. Alright, so he gives us some Magi, said he's going to keep going on to collect Magi, and he gives us the one because he doesn't think, they don't think kids will have it, is what he says. This guy sells giant equipment. So we talked to him to try to find out where he is getting the Giant's equipment. So he tells us that Johnny is getting it, so we have to go talk to Johnny to see if he, how he is getting the Giants equipment. Alright, so we go find Johnny in the bar. And he tells us there's a different color tile, and he asks if we think he's a giant, and it doesn't matter if you say yes or no. If you say yes, he says it's not true. If you say no, he's like, you can climb the shelves. Alright, so we have to go to the giant section of this world. As you can tell, because these houses are huge compared to us. And then, so there's this not very obvious colored part of the wall. And it's a secret door. If you try to talk to that, like, enter that area without talking to Johnny, the game's just kind of like, this seems peculiar, or something like that. We have to go to this house first, because there's 2 magi in here. Alright, so we are going to go to the second house that we need the magi to enter it, because the same thing, it'll say we don't have enough magi to open this door. And then we have to get the 2 chests to sell, and then we have to get that eyeball up on that shelf, which it's totally an eyeball to me. I think it's technically a potion, but that's definitely an eyeball. You think terrorists in the field are bad? Just wait, it'll get much worse. Alright, so this part's kind of boring. We have to go all the way back to Key, so we can enter her body to fight off the bad guys, and in turn, we are actually taking all the magi out of her body. So hopefully you guys have a nice like blanket and nice and comfy, because we're gonna go to the nice comfy part of the stream that it's kind of hard to stay awake during, because it's so just laid back, and the music and the atmosphere and everything. We have to make a real short shopping trip. We're going to go buy an SMG, but it's a gun, so I guess it's an submachine gun, but we're going to be using that for the next mini boss. We technically could probably get around it because we have 2 AoE attacks with the mutant and the baby dragon, but alright, I didn't sell the Micron, which is good. So, if you sell the Micron, you have to go all the way back and to get it in Giants World. So that would have been bad. Alright, so here is Key's body. This part, when I was growing up, was way harder than it is now. Alright, so we became small, and we are in Key's body. So, gets your resident sleepers out. We have we have 7 magi in total. 1 in each hand, 1 in each foot, 1 in her stomach, 1 in her heart. We have to get those 6 before we can go in her brain and get that one out. So this poor girl has terrorists, samurais, and worms so far in her belly, or in her body. Rhinos and conjurers. This poor lady. I wouldn't talk to anyone if I had this stuff in my body either. Plasma? Okay, that's normal. So yeah, if you guys are in like medical school or anything like this is probably great for you. You can learn the anatomy of a body. You can learn what's not good in the body, which would be terrorists and robos, robo 28s. All this stuff is probably not normal in the body, so you can definitely take notes. Woodmen's. But also, you know, it's perfectly laid out. We went down squiggly arms to hands. There's actually 5 fingers here. And then we have to go back up the squiggly arms. And then we're gonna have to go down her body. Oh, more terrorists. That's never a good sign. Some rocks, some cobblestones. This is Cells at Work Season 3. So this is her heart. I always thought, for whatever reason when I was a kid, that this was her stomach, because there's 4 compartments, like your heart has 4 valves, I believe. And I just was like, oh, you know, 4 stomachs, like a cow, this must be the stomach, because, you know, small children are not the smartest sometimes. We think illogically when we're playing video games or something. So that was the heart. Yeah, good thing those rocks are not in the kidneys, that is also true. Crabs, yeah, I mean, this poor girl, man. She's going through something, man. Alright, so here's her foot. They actually do put 5 little toes. It's always that these magi are always in the same spot, which is why I know where they are. That'd be a real jerk move if you're playing this as a kid, like, oh, it was in the right foot last time. And then you go down there and it's just not there. Alright, so we have to go all the way back, which makes sense. I mean, in the body standpoint, you're not just going to be able to jump from foot to foot, but I wish we could. So yeah, the reason I just said this is like the comfy zone out part in is because nothing happens here. You run from everything. You can't, and you just collect magi and listen to this music for a long time. So this is, I assume, her intestines that you're going back and forth. Oop, or just run into the wall there. That's smart too. Alright, so almost through the intestines, go into the stomach. And we are going up to, I assume is her stomach. I assume we're going up the intestines to the stomach. I hope it's not the other way around. Get some more magi, and one more in her foot. So, like I said, hopefully everyone is taking notes that needs it for any kind of medical classes they're taking, if they're doing any. Well, I guess it's summer now, so maybe they're not as many. But yeah, if you need a good description of what the body looks like, just pull up a map of Final Fantasy Legend 2, and there you go. Alright, so now that we got all that, we have to go up to her brain. So her brain is guarded by her cells' bodies. Her, all of her body's, what is it, white blood cells, I guess, that defend the body. I guess they're all up here just protecting her brain, and that's why, everything's just kind of going on. I don't really have to safety save, but I will just because. So again, we're just going to SMG it. 8 of them is good because you get more money, so, and they're dead. And we took the Magi, and as I usually say, we don't even talk to her, we just kind of ruin her life and walk away from her. Alright, see you later, Key. Everyone's out of her temple, no one's there trying to, like, get her to heal. She can't heal anymore, so she has no friends or anything, just kind of like, just, you know, ruin her life. Yeah, you know what? Some of the things you're saying are making a lot of sense. I probably would not want to know that terrorists are in my body and that I'm shooting a gun inside of someone's body. So maybe it is best that we just leave her there. You're better now. Bye. Yeah, as some of you are pointing out, some of the translation is not good. With only limited characters, they translate just certain things not good. But they did censor something, as I was seeing that people were talking about before the game started. They did censor something, and it's kind of a big deal. Alright, so this is Apollo, and he's gonna tell us, he's going to tell us where some Magi is, which he's definitely not important since he's tall and has his own music. Alright, so he tells us where Magi is. He says there's some underwater, some in a cave of light, and some in a cave of the north. So again, we're gonna just be running from everything because our agility is high enough. So we are walking on lava. It's no big deal. It's a JRPG, so we're just, you know, taking it like a champ. So down here, we're going to be picking up a lot of treasure in this world to sell, to make our robots stronger. Yeah, so if you weren't tired of the music from the last, you know, long section of the game, they throw that same music in this section when you are underwater. So the power potion's actually kind of cool. It gives, if you use it, it gives your character +3 to their strength stat, but we don't use strength. It's terrible. Oh yeah, there's totally giant cells that just float around in the water. Alright, so the next area we're coming up to, the floor moves. The floor moves, so if anyone doesn't like flashing stuff and moving things, it's probably best to not watch the next area because it's not good for you. But just a warning ahead of time. I will save because you can start to get ambushed in this cave, so... So yeah, the floor moves here. I always thought it was kind of cool. As a kid, I would always try to walk with it, but I know, you know, some people can't handle that kind of stuff, so... Alright, here we're just picking up some more magi and some treasure. We don't want to run into, I believe they are the saber cats. They can ambush us, and in theory, our robot should be able to dodge everything with how high his agility is. But it's still less than ideal. Yeah, I really like some of the stuff they did in this game, especially for a Game Boy game. There's, you know, the music's really good. Some of the effects that they did were pretty cool for a Game Boy game. Alright, so this treasure we're actually going to equip, and I like to equip it right away just to make sure my robot is even more powerful. So we got our laser sword. So yeah, we unequipped the SMG. We need it for that one fight to make it not take forever and a lot safer. Here we're gonna get some more magi. And then after this cave, we are kind of safe from the unexpected attacks, which is when you get ambushed in this game, for a little bit. So that'll be very nice. Alright, so on the next cave we're coming up to, we're gonna be fighting another mini-boss. It is a giant robot called Donatus. He's very unique in that if you kill, or when you kill him, your mutant can learn any spell in the game from him, even endgame spells. So, the way the spells work in this game, depending on the monster you kill, you can learn different tier level spells. You know, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it goes up to 10, maybe. But he is flagged that you can learn any spell from him. So, if you're casually playing, you can just sit here and keep killing him and resetting until you get the what you want. But in the speedrun, if you have an Esper on your team or a mutant, the spell you want to get is teleport. Teleport save is up to 3 minutes. Just by avoiding walking back, you can just teleport to previous towns you've been in. Teleport is also, you can glitch the game in the glitched category, and you can teleport when we go to, we're going to be going to a dragon race eventually, and you can teleport while on the dragon, and the game doesn't know what to do, so it teleports you out of the race, but you still have the dragon, and you can just walk through walls, and so you can get to the end of the game that way. There is also the glitch category where you do a poison glitch, which if a character dies to poison when they didn't do an action, or didn't attack, I mean, the game kind of freaks out and weird stuff happens. And the way they do that in the first world, they'll get an endgame monster that has teleport, and actually teleport a bunch and stuff like that. So the plot right now is to get all of the magi, and to find our dad. We kind of found our dad, and he's kind of like, hey, collect this magi, so we're gonna collect the magi. And to stop the bad guys from using it. Alright, so here we get the worst companion in the game, Lynn. And hopefully, oh, okay, I was gonna say, hopefully we don't get in a fight with her, because there's a good chance you can't run if you get a fight with her, because she's that bad. I, again, will safety save, because there is a chance that the robot can miss. So we're just gonna laser sword him, and it should one hit. And we did not learn a spell. Alright, so here we find Dad hanging out with Lynn and Lynn's mom. And we're like, what's he doing here? Then we're just like, oh, whatever, let's just get some magi. See you later. Alright, so we are going to go sell everything and make our robot really strong. Alright, so we're going to the next world since we have all the magi we need. So we are going to go to Guardian's world. So this is when the first instant of teleport would be nice, because this big long walk we're doing now, since we talked to Lynn, we have to do a second time, and it's just very slow. In this world, the only clue you have in this world is if you talk to the bartender and he's like, you should play the jukebox or something like that. So you have to play the heroic tune, and a secret door appears, and you are spies. So here we see a guy with a masked, kind of dad-looking character. Just ignore everything and just go straight to here. Hey, it's our dad. We haven't seen him in so long. He's like, hey, how's it going, family? You should just go to bed. And you go to bed because you listen to your parents, and the base gets attacked. Alright, just gonna go run from everything, fight some easy mini-bosses because we have a super robot now. So our robot is super powerful for this point of the game because we have everything on him. Alright, so our Esper learned our first move is Strength to Quake. So Captain we found out is our dad. Wow, our dad is the captain of the Guardians. We can get a drop from this guy. The more drops we get, the faster we can get a laser gun later. We can just buy it instead of buying it at the end. Eat the meat. Eat the meat. Sadly, I cannot eat the meat. Whoops, one too many. Hey, this commando can sometimes surprise attack you. Because that's a great mechanic. Hey, we got a bazooka, nice. Alright, so the next world we're going to is hilariously called Ambush World. So Ambush World is a small path and a ninja. I'm going to save again just because. So here we find out what Lynn and our father and stuff is doing. So our dad was hanging out with Lynn and her mom because Lynn's dad died. So our dad was trying to help support them because their dad was a guardian. So he wasn't being a deadbeat dad and just running away from us. He was actually trying to be a good guy. So here the ninja ambushed us, so he just gets to live another turn until I stab him with a laser sword. Alright, so he's dead. So we can talk to Lynn, but she takes longer, so we just come over and talk to her mom instead. And she also tells us that, like, hey, you know, Lynn's dad died and he was helping support her and stuff like that, so way to go. Oh, sorry, a slice, not a stab with the laser. But if we talk to Lynn's mom, we can hear this music that we don't get to hear much longer. This is the only point in the game you really hear it. So I like to hear it as long as we can, because it's actually a pretty good song. Alright, so now that that's done, well, our dad's dead, so let's just keep on collecting magi. So, also, I guess I should say this since I didn't. I equipped the Magi, because Magi is not just a straight MacGuffin in this game. If you equip the Magi, it gets +3 to your stats that doesn't show up. So I put the agility one on the robot naturally, and the mana one, which is like the magic stat in this game, on the monster for now. Alright, so this is Venus's world. In Venus's world, we are in a giant city surrounded by walls. So in this city, we find out through talking to people that the city is only for beautiful people, and everyone that is not beautiful, Venus kicks out. I don't know how a female human, a female mutant, a monster, and a robot are beautiful, but we're allowed to stay in the town because we defeated Ashura. Yeah, so as you saw, and it's been mentioned, that X ice that my mutant got means he's weak to ice now, or she's weak to ice now. So, we are gonna be weak to ice for a little bit. In this world, this is kind of the first time there's really weird triggers that you would not think, I guess. So you have to talk to Venus first before you can leave her town. And then you have to talk to Leon there before you can enter the sewers. If you try to enter the sewers without talking to Leon, the game says, like, sewers do not enter, or some stupid generic thing like that. In this world also is when we can start being ambushed a lot. So we have to be prepared for that. The werewolves are the main culprit to surprise attack us. We have to fight a very simple, easy mini-boss that we're just gonna run from. Or not we're gonna run from, we're just gonna one-shot him. So, I know Invenerable ran this game at one point, and he always talked about the worms in this game look like they're like, they're antisocial worms. They're just kind of like, hey, why am I here? Like that look on their face. So, what we don't want to see is him using, the crab using shell or defense, because it just makes it last another round. Right on. Getting some HP, and he had a key on him somewhere. I don't know where the key was on the crab, but we got it. I'm sorry, the hermit. But we got it. So we need that key to enter this room and another room. There is that bottom right chest right there is actually a mimic. There's only 2 mimics in this game, and they are both in this world. which is kind of weird because it doesn't show up any other point in the game, but it also doesn't show up until this point. So the first time I opened it, I just absolutely got destroyed because I didn't comprehend that why was this chest a mimic, pretty much. And then that first one is also a mimic, and it's only monsters from like 2 worlds ahead, but when you're not prepared for them, they can, you know, brutally destroy you. So if you had teleport, like I could have gotten teleport in a 1 in 65 chance or something like that, you can just teleport right back to Venus's world, and you don't have to walk out of this sewers. So you save all of these steps that you can get encounters in, and you take the same amount of steps probably, but there's no random encounters, so it saves a bunch of time. And then you can walk through the wall here randomly, so you just kind of walk through the wall, fight some sprites. Oh, there's the unexpected attack. So, and again, our BFG should have enough agility to be able to dodge anything. But I guess I'll safety save after something happens. But we're gonna run into stuff that can hit him. All right, so this is Venus. This is Flora. Flora, we randomly have to talk to her next. The game doesn't point to talk to her at all, but you have to talk to her next for that volcano to appear. And naturally, since this is a JRPG, if a volcano appears, you should probably go into it. If you actually talk to the NPCs in this world, they talk about how the world has been shaking a lot lately and certain things like that, so I guess that's why it's not uncommon. So we are going to go to the volcano. Yeah, again, this is one of the first worlds I got stuck on as a kid, because nothing is straightforward. Like, you have to talk to Venus, then Leon, then you have to go through the thing, then you have to talk to Flora for some reason, and then you walk here and the game freezes and Leon's magically behind you, then not behind you. Then you walk through more lava. Then you climb. I guess we're climbing the volcano. I never even really thought about that, since there are steps and everything. I guess we're climbing up the volcano for some reason, and the game freezes and Leon's there again, and he's not there again. So I kind of get, we're a party of 4, and we're kind of making our way through it. I'm not really sure how Leon is getting through this volcano by himself. Maybe his stats are just broken. So those serpents can actually surprise attack you too. So the killer combo is actually a serpent, and actually I'll save here. The killer combo is the serpent and the magician. Because the magicians can cast magic-based spells, so the robot can't really do anything about that. Or I think the commandos, or the mercenaries, I think it was, they can throw grenades that can hit. Or there's little like flying robot things. So yeah, there's a lot of mean things in here. NPCs don't encounter enemies. You're correct. I forgot about that. So we're just making our way up the volcano, I guess. Since, like I said, I never thought about it as climbing it, but if we're going up and down stairs, I assume we're climbing up it. So yeah, sadly I made Questing for Glory character the meat shield, so whoops. Sorry, guys. Alright, get some treasures to sell. Whew, okay, that's the fight we don't want to see. Yeah, there's definitely Triceratopses in this game. And they're descendants. Rhinos are descendants of Triceratopses because they're the same sprite, obviously. Alright, almost done with the volcano. Alright, we have Fire Magi, and then we take this Power Magi, and Leon appears again, and punches us in the face and takes the Power Magi. And then I guess we jump out the top of the volcano, since we're kind of there. I never thought about that, but that totally makes sense, because since we're on the top of the volcano there. We totally climb up the volcano and then just jump out the top. No, you can get encounters on the damage tiles. I just got incredibly lucky, I guess, on that section. Alright, so again, if you had teleport, as soon as you get that Magi out of there, you can just teleport right back to Venus's, so... Alright, so here... we are... going to go talk to Venus because... and Venus is telling us that she's marrying Niles and Flora. So, Leon was kicked out of town because he had a broken leg. I didn't say that. She's marrying Niles and Flora, but Leon's like, no, I'm gonna save Flora because I love her. He runs in with a Magi and a knife and tries to attack Venus. Flora's like, yo, I don't want to marry Niles, and please, don't hurt him. I'm begging you. And Venus is like, don't tell me what to do. And Flora takes the knife and puts a scar on her face, and she's like, I'm ugly now, you gotta kick me out. And Venus is like, no, that's not gonna happen. And we're like, alright, that's enough, Venus, come on. So we're gonna step in and save the world, or save the day. So here is Venus. Venus can be bad if she decides to use the flame attack back to back. If not, then, or we can miss with our laser sword. So flame is worthless, so it just wastes time. We're gonna just laser her, and if she charms anyone, it's fine. If she uses the erase, it's fine. Anything but flame, pretty much, because the robot should be able to dodge the Blitz Whip if she uses that. Okay, so we got super easy fight, even with the mist laser. Oh, we got surprise, perfect. That's actually really good. We can surprise attack the final boss now. Alright, so we got a very important Magi there. We got the Aegis Magi. So, the Magus, or Aegis, I might have said Magus. The Aegis Magi is very broken in this game, and we'll be using that for sure. But I have to do the stupid rules of this game. So, you can only have 4 spells learned, or 4 abilities learned per mutant. So, if you have more than 4, the next one you learn will be the bottommost one will disappear. So we will get rid of our weak to ice is probably the best one to get rid of, I assume. Yeah, so we end up saving the world, and Venus is dead, and everyone can be happy, I guess, in that world. Alright, so now is for the big grind, potentially in this this game. We have to get a certain meat drop for our monster to turn into something. Or we can get unexpected attacked. Alright, most people take the second fastest one, but I'm a fan of taking the third fastest one. I'm actually going to save here too, since you can still get ambushed. Oh, and get in a fight right away, perfect. There's depending on how many depending how fast of the dragon you pick depends on how many mini bosses you have. So if you pick the fastest one, you have 4 mini bosses. That little transition there would have been the first one. So this second one, I fight 3 of them because you can actually run from this one. So this is the second mini boss that most people don't fight because they don't get this dragon. But we could just run from it because the game programmed it poorly, I guess. Which, the gamers never program things poorly. So we're going to save here just in case. And then this one we have to fight. But we're going to save and reset if we don't have 1 or 2 here. Because it's just, there's a chance of not being able to fight it. So the way we have our rules is you can save and quit through fixed fights. You can't save and quit out of random encounters. But these fixed fights like this, we can save and quit because otherwise there's certain fights we just would not be able to do if we fought 4 or 5 or more of certain enemies. Alright, so the next monster, that was the 3rd mini-boss. The next mini-boss we're going to be fighting is the Watcher. And the Watcher can take first try Watcher meat, or it can take, I think the highest that's ever, the highest I remember seeing is 30 tries. And it's supposed to be a 25% chance to get a meat drop, so we'll see. Alright, 1, that's perfect. Nope. Alright, so 1. Alright, I'll fight 2. So I need BFG to live, and I need, I think Butts was the dragon to live. Alright, nope, that's 2. Alright. Alright, that's 3. Alright, Meow's fine. Yeah, so the hard part is if you can beat 3 or 4 Watchers, but the hard part is making your dragon and your robot live the whole time. Hey, there we go. Alright, that wasn't too bad. So we got a Watcher now, so we actually have warning. So because the Watcher has warning, we cannot be surprise attacked anymore. So that's part of the reason we get that monster in this speedrun. And also just because it's really, really, really good. And because it leads to different evolutions later. So the Watcher has Beam, which is an AoE attack for a single target, like a single group of enemies. That's really powerful, especially with that Mana Magi on him. And it also has Stone Gaze, so it can stone a couple bosses later that the developers didn't give resistance to stone for some reason, so... Alright, so that wasn't too bad. Could definitely been worse. Alright, here is the Edo world. And we're gonna fight some Hamatos. This is another world that... casually playing through it was definitely weird for me. Because there's so many... Ooh, I might actually be able to... Oh, I got teleport, but it's a little late. Actually, I can use teleport in this world. I can save a little bit of time with teleport. That's cool, you guys can see some of it at least. We'll get rid of Quake then. So the big time save is gone, but I can still save some time. So with the bazooka and the... What else did we get? The Magnum. I should be able to buy a laser gun ahead of time. Okay, so because I got a laser gun ahead of time, I'll be able to do extra damage earlier. Again, that they're all going on our robot though, so... so in this world, you have to defeat the Hamados, and then so Hannah came to talk to us about them being mean. So we have to go to the other town and talk to Hannah about what to do about this world. So she's just casually standing here. Big guys, detective, yeah, blah blah blah. Her dad was investigating him, but then he got killed by Ichigoya, so we're gonna go talk to Ichigoya now. So you have no idea who Ichigoya is unless you talk to NPCs. You find out that Ichigoya is actually the weapons person in this first town. So we have to go talk to Ichigoya. But you can't talk to him like you want to buy something. You have to talk to him from behind the counter. So let's go talk to him. And he tells us the next shipment came in the South Harbor, so let's go to the South Harbor. So that actually, that little mini roadblock there took me a while because I don't know if I just, you know, couldn't read or something, but I was like, who is Ichigoya? I cannot understand, I cannot talk to him. So he tells us to go to here. That's Kami. He tells us that Hannah's already on the boat. So I don't know why we had to find out when the ship was coming when clearly she knew it was coming. So here is a boat that we were on. It's going fast, and we're on it. Here we're gonna find out what they're smuggling, if anything. So I guess I'll wait till they actually spoil what they're smuggling. I don't want to ruin it for anyone about the arms they're smuggling into this world. So we get another laser gun. We get a tank, because of course we do, and then we get a boot. The boat is evil because it has encounters. And the creepy music, so we get a Hectate boot. And then we go through jail. Oh, okay. We're getting a fight. And we talk to this guy. Hey, what's up, Taro? So we find out that this ship is full of bananas! Oh no! Alright, so this ship is full of bananas. Cat claw, laser, tank. Yeah, so the original version they were smuggling opioids in. But 90s, oh wait, what am I doing? I have teleport. But 90s America, you couldn't have opioids, so they changed it to banana. So that's how teleport works really good. You don't have to make the steps out of the ship, so you save all those steps. Alright, so hurry up and pick up, down, left, or right for this next cutscene. I'm going to do something funny. Actually, left, right, or up, or top. I'm going to make the next cutscene funnier by moving where I should be. Oh no, I said it too late. The first one I see I'm using, so sorry if you said something different. Left, okay. Oh no! So Kami is actually on top of us right now because of where we are. So then we actually move on top of Hannah right now because you're supposed to talk to her from below. So we should be on that chair actually on the other side of this table. And then so since we're supposed to move from there, we're supposed to move from that chair. We're actually we actually now move into the bed instead of being below Hannah. So depending on where you put yourself there, the game moves you like it should. Like you should just talk to Hannah from the bottom. But since I moved to the left, it thinks I'm still below her and just moves me anywhere. It follows my normal path. Okay, so that whole cutscene, actually something happened, but I was too busy laughing at the silliness of it. Kami went to go find, try to find Ichigoya and see what he did. And they beat him up, and the cops are like, hey, we saw Kami, and they're like, he's not here. And they were like, this is a lot bigger than you think, Hannah, you should drop it. And then we're like, we gotta do something about this Ichigoya. So we're gonna go visit Ichigoya, and someone's talking inside. And we hear it's Ichigoya and Shogun, and they're like, what are we gonna do with all these bananas? Let's keep doing this stuff. Yeah, we got some bananas, here's some money, this is awesome, ha ha ha. You're so bad. And then all of a sudden, our robot presses a button, boom. The music changed. They even acknowledge it in the game. What is this music? We changed the music on them with our robot, DJ. And so we have to fight Ichigoya and his men. Alright, so we'll take care of them. We got another gun. And Stone Gaze. So our Cat Claw is doing a lot of damage, as you saw there. Alright, so we took care of them, and we found out it's above Ichigoya. The Shogun's doing it. So, and we tell Taro that he's like, hey, I'm a guardian. And I'm like, yeah, my dad was captain. And he's like, oh, captain, how's he doing? And we're like, he's dead. So Taro's like, let's go save the world and defeat the Shogun together. And we said, alright, let's do it, boy. Ichigoya is not really supposed to get one shot, but our robot has max agility already, and so he's doing bonkers damage because the agility is really broken in this game. So agility weapons do damage based off of agility, but it also depends on how fast you go in turn order, how much damage you do. And on agility weapons and stuff like that. So that's why my agility weapons are so powerful with my robot. So this is a random encounter you have to fight. So the only bad thing about that is this encounter shows up again in this it can show up again in this dungeon. So if it shows up in this dungeon, we have to fight it because it's flagged as the entrance battle, so you can't run from it. So again, when I was a kid, this area was like the hardest area in the world to me, until I played further in the game, obviously. But it's so confusing when I was a kid, and now it's pretty straightforward when I actually realize it. But so the tank I have equipped on the human, the tank does AoE damage and it can like kill a group of enemies, but it also can defend 70% of the physical attacks used on it. And then the mutant is going to be using teleport, going to be using the Aegis Magi. The Aegis Magi makes you... It protects that character from physical attacks, and if you actually get to use it in battle, it gives your team elemental resistance for the rest of the fight. So like fire, lightning, ice, that stuff you'll be protected from. But non-elemental stuff like quake, tornado, and things like that can still hit you. So it makes it not as bad for certain fights. Yeah, there's also fixed damage weapons, which is why we have laser guns. The tank and laser guns do fixed damage, so that's why whenever we do use our human and mutant, they're going to be doing some damage with those weapons. Yeah, this speedrun is very beginner friendly. There's guides out there on... there's different guides for different classes or different groups. You can do 2 monsters, double human, double esper. The world record is double human because it starts the fastest. Okay, so this is what we didn't want to see. But luckily, with this formation, we should be able to kill all 3 of them in 1 hit. Perfect. So that fight can take a lot of time if you can't one-turn it. Alright, so here's Shogun. I actually missed this treasure chest a lot as a kid. So again, it's an agility weapon, since, you know, the game loves agility just as much as we do. Alright, so here's the Shogun. He's like, we're gonna take your life, and he's like, wah, and does the Waluigi. So we should 2-shot him, actually. Well, 3-shot him because our eyeball went first, so he's dead. Alright, so we're strong against it. Alright, so the real bad guy, Magnate. So when he says disappear, I always assume that Magnate just grabs him with his claws by the head and just throws him. I don't know why. So Magnate's like, hey, come here. Oh. Oh, God. I was like, oh, no. I didn't save. Alright, so you have to save from him, because even if you're super well prepared, he can use Tornado twice and just wipe your party, even casually. Oh, we got a strike first. And he can be surprise attacked, I guess, too. So there you go. Because, of course, he can. So we're just going to just beat him up. Just to hold down A. So he used Thunder, but because we used the Aegis Magi, it didn't do anything. There you go. I hope you like the sound of that beam, by the way, because you're going to be hearing a lot of laser gun type noises come later. Alright, 10 more Magi, go! Let's go! Oh, and also, they talk about there's 77 Magi in the world, since I guess I kind of glossed over that, since, you know, who needs plot? Alright, this world, this is the Nasty Dungeon world. This is 10 floors that progressively get harder and have tons and tons of treasure in them. But it's completely optional because the Magi for this world is right here. And then you just leave. There's lots of awesome treasure casually you can get, but since we're speedrunning it, it takes too long, so we just get the treasure and leave. That Sprite Fairy Lady, whichever one she is at this point, is just like, this dungeon's really nasty, you shouldn't go here. And if you actually go all the way through it, she's at the end, and she goes, I told you it was nasty, wasn't it? And if you say no, she's like, well then maybe you should try it again, and sends you onto floor 5 of it, so right in the middle of it. And if you say yeah, it was nasty, then you can leave. Oh my gosh, somebody strike first. Alright, so this is Valhalla we're in now. This is the music that plays if you die, but since we didn't die in this game, we never heard it. Also, if you die in this game, the game kind of has like a just-in-case mechanic, and you talk to the boss of this world, and he's like, if you promise to fight me one day, I'll resurrect you to fight again. But since we didn't, like, if you die during the game and you talk to the boss coming up, he goes through a big long speech about how you promised to fight him and, you know, all this other stuff. And then you fight him, and then he gives you another big long speech about like, oh, it was so nice to fight a worthy opponent, blah blah blah. But if you don't die during the game, you just go straight into the fight with him, and he doesn't talk at all before or after. Which, I don't know if that's intended, or if the game developers intended you to die at some point in the game. I guess I'll just say it since it's already been said, and it's Odin is the boss of this world, so... And also, this is a real jerk move. This is like, you might think is the end, but you can just keep going through this. Eggs or portals? Or orbs? That's a great question. I've actually never thought about what these are. I wonder if someone that's played the DS version could clarify that for us, as was just said in chat. Alright, so we definitely have to save in front of Odin because Odin can be a big jerk no matter what. Alright, we're going to tank Sleipnir, Aegis, and beam Sleipnir, and then we're going to use the Samurai Bow on the Odin's Crows. Because there's two of them, it kills both of them. We did not want to see that. That's actually not terrible, because we can still use the Aegis. So we want to use the Aegis because Odin can use Thunder, Ice, and Lightning. So now we want to see those since we use the Aegis. What we don't want to see is him start stabbing people with his spear. Which we didn't, so that's awesome. Alright, that was a pretty good fight. Alright, so we have almost all the Magi now. So here we can actually use the Pegasus that we got from the Nasty Dungeon to teleport if we didn't have teleport. And then when we teleport into Valhalla, it actually teleports us on the other side of the dungeon. I don't know who figured that out or why, but hey, thanks a lot. Alright, this next area, this is the final world, it's called. We're going to be going to see what's going on, I guess. Alright, so we definitely save here, because this boss can also be a jerk. Yeah, the game definitely ramps up with how many bosses you fight back to back. Oh, look, Apollo! So I have 76 Magi, and he has the 77th, and he's like, give it to me, I need to become a god. And he's like, come, my man! And so we fight a minion. So, at this point we can start stone gazing bosses, and oh, okay. And we can stone gaze the boss first try, I guess. So he gets all the people that we've dealt with throughout the worlds, and says he's gonna kill them pretty much if we don't give him the Magi. So he's gonna become the super god with having all of the Magi. But then Dad comes in like Fox McCloud, and he's like, don't lose hope. And then he tells us that there's a secret 78th Magi that they didn't tell anyone about because they didn't want anyone to abuse it. And it's in the final dungeon, because of course it is. Actually, since I have teleport, I have to go in this world first. Or in that town first before I can teleport there, so... So Dad is not completely worthless. He's back. And we got first turn Stone Gaze, so that's good. Alright, we need to do a little bit equipping. Alright, Karate. Whoop, oh, and an empty chest. Alright, so we need to make our robot... Oh, I already have a laser gun there. We need to put the Karate on him. And then Dad needs the boot to give him 15 more mana and a flare book, so Dad can do tons of damage. So there's a garbage can glitch in this also. If you have a certain number of Magi, and if you have a certain number of Magi, and you use the garbage can that's at the bottom of your inventory, it acts as a certain item depending on how many Magi you have. but if you use it too many times, it glitches the game and it gives you 99 magi, which you would think like doesn't seem awful, but you have to fight Odin to progress to this final world. So if you try to do that, the game actually gives you the magi you get from Odin, which is 10, I believe. So, and in turns you'll have 9 magi, so you soft lock the game. That Arthur armor we get for safety just to sell, which I'm probably not going to need it all because I've had a ton of drops already, but... again, I can run from everything because my agility is so high, and I can't get ambushed because I have the Watcher. So that's why I'm able to just run from everything pretty much since the middle of the game. And also, like I was saying, the game ramps up the difficulty with bosses. It's like Ashura, then a whole bunch of worlds, then Venus, then one world, then Magnate, then one world, then Odin, then one world, or not even one world, Odin, and then Minion, and then we have to fight a boss at the end of this world, or end of this dungeon too. Like, it's just kind of like, okay, you know what you're doing, here's a whole bunch of bosses. And when I was a kid, the walls in this dungeon were always little creepy faces, like making... just like moving with the rhythm of the game at you. I don't know if anyone else always saw that, but that's what I always saw when I was a kid. Alright, this is the Excalibur room. If you go to the right or left here, you can go up and around, and you can get the Excalibur, which has infinite uses and kills stuff fast, but it's strength based, and strength is awful, so... Alright, let's hope we can stone gaze again for this boss, because the programmers didn't make it so you couldn't stone gaze it. I don't know if they're moving faces or not. That's what they always look like to me. I don't know if they're supposed to be or not. Alright, so this is definitely not a boss because it's not symmetrical or anything. I've played enough games to know that this is a boss. Man, that's twice I've gotten in a fight right in front of a boss. Let's go! Yep, you don't have that anymore. Alright, let's try to stone gaze them again. So Dad uses Flare, the War Mech uses some missiles on us, and no stone gaze, but we're gonna try again. So War Mech is here to wreck us. Hey, you got stone gaze again. Actually, it's War Mech, I think, in this. So since we have teleport, we can teleport to Final Town. I need 4 laser guns. So we're going to duct tape a bunch of laser guns to our robot. And he's ready to go. We are going to go buy... we have a ton of money, which we usually don't have this much money, but I had a bunch of drops. So we're going to buy... 3. I don't need this much, it's definitely way too much. Oh yeah, so we got the Heart Magi there, since I didn't specify that. I did pick it up, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. So we got the Heart Magi. If we use that in battle, like we were using the Aegis, the Heart Magi, it brings everyone back to life with full HP if you use it in the middle of battle, so... So I want to. I don't know even if there is 100% category for this. I guess 100% would be all treasures. I guess. The good old elixir. Alright, so now we get to fight Apollo, and I really hope you guys like the sound of laser guns, because you're going to hear it for 5 turns. So, for the first 5 turns, Apollo just talks trash at you, and because you're technically not supposed to be dealing damage to him. Oh, and we get an extra turn out of it. So we're going to be shooting him a lot, and using a flare gun, or flare book, while he talks trash to us. I don't understand why you could surprise attack. I didn't even know you could surprise attack him. Yeah, he talks about he's perfectly protected with his Aegis and stuff like that, but we're just gonna pew him. So yeah, for the first 5 rounds, I guess it's 6 rounds since we got a surprise attack, which, like I said, I didn't even know you could surprise attack him. We just sit here and shoot him while he talks trash at me. And then our dad is doing so much damage because we gave him 15 extra mana by putting that boot on him. And then we gave him the flare book since it's the most powerful spell in the game. Alright, here it comes. The music's changing, it must be important. Alright, so we just don't want to see him attack Dad, pretty much. Alright, that's fine. So because we did so much damage to him during the first phase, he automatically goes to his last phase, which he doesn't have all the magi, so he melts, or starts to melt. And then he's killed everyone except our robot, so we can just run because he's in this phase. And then he literally does melt, and he blows up, and our dad jumps in front of us and dies. And Dad fell right on. Oh, we do hear this music again, I forgot. So we decide to use the magi ourselves to try to save our dad. And he's like, don't do it. So we're like, alright, let's do it. And then Isis is here, the ancient goddess, and she's reading our mind, and she tells us what to do. So again, we're going to have a big shaking screen for the rest of the game, so I hope that doesn't bother you. So we have to go to the center of the world now to stop this shaking. So from this point on, we cannot run from any battles, which is less than ideal, but... And I hope you like flares, because we're going to be using flare all the time with Isis. Isis has 99 of every stat, 999 HP, and really, really good. Yeah, we just like, Isis is like, your dad will be fine, and we just like leave him there. So this is like the gauntlet of the game, because you can't run from any battles after Apollo dies. But because we have elixirs and stuff, we have to fight everything, and we have to make our way down to the bottom. And it's there's gonna be 2 mini bosses that are insanely hard that you have to save in front of, because they're just, even casually, if they can just use double tornado and do, you know, 600 damage with each one and just wipe your party out, even Isis. Hey, look, our mutant got a flare, but their mana stat's so low that doesn't matter. Alright, well, last flare. So the reason we bought all those elixirs and tents is since we're just going to be spamming Flare with Isis, elixirs give you all your spell charges back. So... Oh, she has 5 flares again. So, oop. If you press B during this game, by the way, it tells you, kind of gives you hints on what to do, but I never done that. I've never did that during this run, so... Alright, 5 flares again. Oops. Nope, don't want that meat. So, the last, the last monster we're gonna eat is, the last monster meat we're gonna eat is from the first mini boss. It's going to turn our Watcher into a butterfly, and the butterfly is pretty bonkers. It has really fast agility. It also has an absorb spell, which gains life if it deals damage. So, alright, here's the first mini boss. We need 1, maybe 2. Oh, or, okay, strike first makes it not as terrible. I didn't even know you could strike first them, because I usually don't have it. But they can, like I said, they can double tornado and just wipe your party. Eating this or the next mini boss puts you in, like the top... Oh crap, I don't have any flares left now. Oh yeah, I do. That was turn 1. Okay. The monsters go like 1 through 10, and then there's B monsters, and then there's A monsters. A monsters you can only get by eating the Tailong and the Fenrir's meat, and you can only get... Otherwise, you can only have a B monster. And yeah, having surprise is a kind of double-edged sword in the speedrun. A, it's super nice, but it also adds, like, you know, a half a second each battle, because that text comes up. Oof, I almost just tried to run from that fight. So it's definitely a double-edged sword having surprise. But we are able to surprise Magnate, Apollo, and the first mini-boss here, so it's definitely pulled its own weight. Alright, so yeah, not much to really say going here. We're just climbing to the middle of the earth, I guess. Oh look, Butts did something. Butts killed it. So, I will save when we get to the bottom of the stairs. Do I have any flares left? I was not paying attention. I have 1. I'll just use a thing. I'm here. I have enough because I bought so much. I will save when we get to the bottom. If I run to the optional super boss, I will attempt to kill it. I can't promise anything, but I'll try. I'll do it for the people. Alright, so this is the next mini-boss here. Well, since we got strike first, I'll fight too. Yeah, if you don't do enough damage, he slowly recovers HP throughout the rounds. So they are fixed to have meat drops. Alright, so... Sorry for anyone that doesn't like shaking screens. Alright, if we run into it, I'll fight it. It's a Haniwa is what it is. It has Quake, Flare, Bash, and 7 swords which it can drop. 7 sword is super weird though, because it does damage based off of strength and agility, I think. So I've never gotten it, and I don't know how I would use it. The nice thing about this bottom area is, since the screen isn't sliding you down automatically, you don't have to worry about not being able to press start fast enough to use an elixir on Isis. Whoops, totally wrong person. Good thing I have so many. I just wanted to make sure Questing for Glory was doing good, so I used an elixir on it. So if you press B here, the game, it tells you that that Arsenal is in the top left. The random encounter is the super boss, yeah. But it doesn't look like it's gonna happen, so. Oh, still a chance, I guess. Got a headbutt. Alright, one flare left. Alright, so on to the last boss, it looks like. Alright, last boss time. Alright, so we are going to attack the security system. So the security system has 3 phases. The first phase is the cannons phase, and we got strike first, so that's nice. The cannons there's 4 of them. Each of them have 1,000 HP. So once you destroy them, it'll attack with 4 of them. And then if you kill one, so we killed 1 only because of the damage doesn't stack. So now we kill 2. So only 2 cannons will shoot at us while it repairs the other 2. The more, obviously, the less that are there, the less damage it does. So after the next attack, it's going to go to its second phase, which is the small smasher, we call it. So it's a single targeting smasher that just hits an enemy. Alright, so we're going to heal our robot to have full HP. And then, so yeah, you can block the smasher with the tank. Well, the first smasher. And our robot's agility is high enough that it should miss, and Butts can heal himself with its absorb spell. Alright, so this next turn it should go to its third phase, which is the big smasher, which is... oh, okay. Or not. Alright, that's good though. So this phase, it's definitely turning this phase. So this, it hits all of your guys, and it does anywhere from, I want to say, 63 to 639 damage, and there's nothing you can do about it. So what you don't want to see happen is what just happened. You don't want him to end his turn with attacking you, and then start his turn and attack you. Alright, so now it's just down to just the butterfly, since our robot is dead. So what we don't want to see is that exact thing that just happened again. Okay, now we just can't miss. Hey, GG, that's time, by the way, sorry. So Arsenals can be super, like, he's a jerk. He just does damage, and his agility is super high. So if your agility is not high enough, you'll just miss like crazy. So you want to. That's why the butterfly is so good, and the butterfly can heal itself and heal your robot. But hey, thanks for all the GGs, guys. So you talked to Isis, and she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna fix the world, and I'll never see you again." I fixed the elevator, by the way, so you can just go to this elevator. You can actually go and fight it if you want, like go down instead of up. So it just goes super, super slow. But then you can even just be like, "Yeah, you know what? I just want to go back down there," and you can just go back down. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny that it's not. If you try to go in this little elevator earlier, it says it's not working. Alright, and then there's Dad. He's actually not dead. Thanks for all the GGs, everyone. It was a blast running this game for this event. Hope I showed it off okay for everyone. Hope I answered everything good. It's a super easy run to do pretty, like, around 2 hours or so. Once you start grinding the time down, and you have to do the better stuff, or the more optimized stuff, I guess you should say. But yeah, if you guys want to learn the game, there's guides, there's Discord, there's speedruns.com. Go to the game and look at it. I guess I don't know what else to say. Like I said, thanks for having me. Thanks for putting on this great event. I'm glad I could do it again. Our dad's alive. He's a good guy again. Thanks again, and I'm glad you all enjoyed it. Thanks for all the kind words I saw in chat that I didn't acknowledge the whole time I was running. It meant a lot, and yeah, stick around for the next I don't know, 3 days? Keep up the great work. I guess that's all I got.